welcome back to the Music Theory online course here at the Music Factory. And the last chapter we discussed the different values of notes and the different types of notes that you'll run into out there. And this is really important because I talked about that these values, these time of 4 beats or 2 beats or 1 beat, are made from a common time signature that's 4/4. A lot of music you'll see 2 numbers stacked on each other like this at the beginning, indicating 4/4 time signature. Let me break it down exactly what these 2 numbers stand for. The very top number of the time signature is going to tell us how many beats it's going to be in each measure. So if it has a 4, we have to have 4 beats, one way or another, in that measure. The bottom number is kind of tough for some people to understand. It's what beat, what note is going to get the beat is what I mean. So let me explain a little bit better. If we have a tempo of a song going like this, okay, are those always going to be the quarter notes? Not necessarily. We have to first determine what the time signature is, and the bottom number says 4. That tells us that the quarter note is the note that gets the 1. Sometimes you may see another one that might say something like this, 6/8, another very common time signature when it comes to ballads and whatnot. The top number tells us once again how many beats have to be inside that measure in that bar, and it tells us we have to have 6. But this time, the quarter note is not the one that gets the beat. They want the 8th note in that particular song to get the beat. So now, if the tempo is going like this, okay, every time that beat hits, it's the 8th note that's going to be the one that's receiving the beat. Okay, that means that our quarter note is going to be worth 2. Okay, and the half note will then be worth 4. So the time signature is going to really change how many beats are going to be needed in each measure, and it's going to also change what exact note gets the beat. And again, if there's more clarification needed on this, you can work with your particular instructor on going through this, but the easiest way to remember it, top number, how many beats per measure, bottom number, what note gets the beat. So let's take a look at 4/4 and do maybe a couple examples here. Since it's 4/4, this chart here is going to be properly listed, that the whole note gets 4, the half note gets 2, the quarter note gets 1. So I mentioned to you that because the top number is 4, we have to have an equal amount of 4 beats per bar. So if we were to separate it, I have to make some variation of that. So what I can do is I can go like this. I can say I want a G for 2 beats, and then I want to do a D and then a B. And this equals 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our bar is now complete. We can't leave it incomplete. We couldn't just put the half note and then leave it be like that. It'd be an incomplete bar. We have to fill it in with the proper amount of beats per measure. Another way you could do it is you could simply just have a whole note there. Okay? That would still be a complete bar. It would actually have 4 beats in there, and you can move on to the next one. Okay? Another quick example, using some of the 8th notes, is you could do, let's see, 2 B's beamed together like this. You could do a D as a quarter note. Okay? And then you're going to throw in a G as a half note. Let's count it. These are worth a half, because it's 4/4. So these equal 1 beat. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're good. Okay? That is what those first numbers are going to be. Each piece of music is going to have 2 numbers assigned up there. Let's take a look at that 6/8 here for a second. Let's do a couple examples with 6/8. Being that the 8th note is going to be the one now that gets the beat, we need 6 of them in each bar. So we could do something like this. Okay, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beats. because the eighth note's going to be, so I have 4 eighth notes, and then I have 1 quarter note in there, which then equals the 2. So that would be a complete bar as well. I want to talk a little bit about what this does for the song also for a second. The time signature is pretty important for the overall feel of the song. It can actually change exactly how the song's vibe is. Most modern, rock music, folk music, we're at that common 4/4, so it's going to have that feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a lot of chord changes are done maybe on that particular after that fourth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds pretty typical. You probably heard that, and it feels pretty normal. But if we were to maybe change this to say, for example, a 3/4, that means that the quarter note still is getting the 1 beat, but now we're only going to do 3 in that measure. That's going to dramatically change how the feel and the flow of the song goes. A lot of waltzes are in that. A lot of ballads are in this 3/4 because it has a feel of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have that fourth beat in there. So again, the song may have chord changes after each one of those bars. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Feels totally different. Okay, so that's going to make an impact on that. Same thing goes for if we go into something like a 6/8 feel. All right, that's going to then give a different feel as well, to where this is another kind. I think a lot of ballads are going to written in that 6/8 time, to where we're going to have to count 6 beats in every single one. And it's good to have the accents on our 1 and our 4 beat to help us feel out that 6/8 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, completely different feel for that. So these are a couple examples of some typical time signatures you might see. And there is occasions where there might be some odd time signatures. Sometimes you may see something show up like this. 5/4 even is another one too. The odder time signatures are a little bit tough to dance or sway to. They're really pretty common in